Over the years, there have been many stories concerning the supernatural occurrences at the house. One of the most famous we have is about a servant girl who used to work at the hall during the last century. The story goes that after tending to her duties in the tapestry room, she got up to leave when she was suddenly overwhelmed by a feeling that somebody was watching her. Knowing the house's reputation for being haunted, she quickly ran to the door to leave, but as she opened it, she froze in terror. There, gliding effortlessly past her, was the famous Grey Lady, who is said to haunt the hall. The ghost is said to be that of Mary Tudor, the daughter of Henry VIII and sister of Edward VI. Her connection with the house comes mainly from the night she stayed at Sawston during the confusion that followed the death of her brother Edward, when the ill-fated and staunchly Protestant Jane Grey became queen for just 9 days. The devoutly Catholic Mary, while being pursued by a Protestant militia, was invited by her escort Andrew Huddleston to rest and spend the night at the Huddleston family home at Sawston. This is the actual bed where Mary Tudor slept, and after spending the night here, according to the story, she escaped her pursuers by dressing up as a milkmaid and creeping off unrecognised in the morning. On realising that she had eluded them, the enraged Protestant mob then set fire to the house, which was later rebuilt in 1558. Mary Tudor went on to become queen, easily usurping the unfortunate and unpopular Jane Grey, who was later beheaded, along with her husband, Guildford Dudley. Mary entered into what was a very unpopular marriage to Philip of Spain, and lived out her relatively unhappy life until she was succeeded by Elizabeth I.
We had a function in the restaurant. I went in there to light the fire. There was nothing there at all. Well, at the corner of my eye, I saw somebody walk past the window. I went back to the kitchen and I said to the lady in the kitchen, "Oh, bar staff are in early tonight." No, she said, "No one's come in here." So I said, "Well, somebody just walked past the window." So she went off to have a look. Couldn't find anything. I went back into the restaurant with fresh paper to relight the fire, and it was flaring up the chimney. It was a beautiful fire.
I worked at Sawston Hall for 21 years. First in the garden, and then in the house, and then in the restaurant. We went into the haunted bedroom. Door was closed, windows all closed. And you'd go in and the bed cover was in a heap in the middle of the bed. Mrs. Marsh used to say, aye, Mary's been busy overnight, she must have had a restless night. And you could straighten that cloth, that cover, and there was no creases in it. But if we'd screwed something up, it'd end up creased, but that didn't. We had a firm from Cambridge that did the lighting for us when we had a ball, but he wouldn't go into the chapel. So I used to have to go into the chapel, and he passed all the cables through the window to me for me to plug in so that he could test the lighting. Because he said every hair on his body just stood up, that was it. He just froze. but it never bothered me. I went to work one morning and the door was wide open. So I went into the house, nobody in there, all the lights on. I called, nobody about. I thought, well, this is funny. So I rang Major, who lived in the grounds, and asked him why. He said, well, I was checking the house last night. He said, and as I came down the stairs, the spinet started playing. So he said, I just opened the door, went home, and that was it. He said, I was so scared. He said that I just went home. I just ran home.
Well, if I was to ask that question, I must say I'd be very sceptical. I would want a lot more proof. There's still too much of the scientist in me just to accept an easy suggestion of a ghost.
I would think the spirit will always be there. I would think so, yes, yes.